Hey everyone, happy Monday, March 30th. I'm Endrit Sella, and this is Capital Markets Quickie. Let's jump into what's driving the week ahead. Quick note before we dive in. Today's episode is brought to you by AMF Capital Asset Management Frankfurt. Learn more about our funds and strategies at amf-capital.de. All right, let's dive right in. Now, first things first, geopolitics are still front and center. The ongoing tensions between the US and Iran, that's going to stay a major driver this week. Markets are watching every headline, especially with energy prices and inflation risks still in the mix. But beyond geopolitics, this week is really about one thing, the labor market. We're getting the March jobs report on Friday, and that's the big one. Investors are still digesting the fact that employers cut 92,000 jobs in February. Not exactly what you want to see if you're hoping for a resilient economy. Earlier in the week, on Wednesday, we'll also get the ADP private payrolls data, which should give us an early read on hiring trends. So, expect markets to react pretty quickly to anything that confirms or challenges this idea of a cooling labor market. Now, why does this matter so much? Well, remember, the Federal Reserve already cut rates at the end of last year because of these concerns. But lately, inflation has been ticking higher again, so the Fed has basically hit pause. If the labor market keeps weakening, that could put renewed pressure on the Fed to act. At the same time, we're also getting a read on the consumer. On Tuesday, we'll see consumer confidence for March, and that's going to be interesting, especially with all the geopolitical uncertainty in the background. Then on Wednesday, retail sales data for February drops. And here's the thing, consumer spending makes up about 2/3 of the US economy. So if that starts to slow meaningfully, markets will definitely notice. And then we've got earnings, and some big names in there. Nike is reporting this week, and honestly, it's been a tough year for the stock so far. The company is still in turnaround mode, but some analysts are starting to say that the worst might be behind it. In fact, there are calls out there suggesting upside potential of 30% or more. So, this one could be interesting. We'll also hear from Conagra Brands, along with other food companies like McCormick, Lamb Weston, and Cal-Maine. These names might not grab headlines like tech, but they give us something just as important, a real look into everyday consumer behavior. So, big picture? This week is all about three things: geopolitics, jobs, and the consumer. If the data confirms a slowing economy, expect volatility to stay elevated. But if we get some positive surprises, markets might finally catch a bit of a break. All right, that wraps up today's Capital Markets Quickie. Join me again tomorrow morning for more market updates. See you then.